So when Tom Holland was first announced as the new Spider-Man, I was all for it. But what I wasn't all for was them cancelling Spider-Man yet again, because I was one of the very few people who actually loved The Amazing Spider-Man 2. To this day, it's still my favorite Spider-Man movie. By the way, this is me talking before seeing Homecoming. I have not seen Homecoming yet, so that could change after I seen Homecoming. But at the moment, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is my favorite Spider-Man movie. So I was very gutted when they weren't going to move forward with The Amazing Spider-Man 3. And they did the exact same thing with the Sam Raimi trilogy. I was looking forward to Spider-Man 4 because at the time, Spider-Man 3 was my favorite Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man 2 is always the best Spider-Man movie. Don't get me wrong. But my favorite one was Spider-Man 3 at the time. So hopefully Homecoming doesn't get rebooted or anything, but we just have to wait and see. But this video, I'm going to be explaining how I would have fit in Andrew Garfield's version of Spider-Man into the MCU, because I believe there is a way that he could have fit into the MCU. So before we begin any further, leave a like to this video, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you're new. So we know that the MCU has 3 phases at the time of me recording this video. Phase 1, which was the lead up to Avengers. Phase 2, which was the lead up to Age of Ultron. Phase 3 is the lead up to Avengers Infinity War, and they've already done Civil War. So phase 1 of the MCU were basically all origin stories. We had the origin of Captain America, we had origin of Iron Man, we had the origin of Thor, and basically somewhat of an origin of the Incredible Hulk, and we had the forming of the Avengers team. So I would place the Amazing Spider-Man 1 in this phase. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 is in this phase because we get the origin of Spider-Man, we get the origin of Peter Parker. But I bet you're asking the question, if the Amazing Spider-Man 1 is going to be in phase 1, why didn't he get recruited to the Avengers? Why didn't Nick Fury notice him or anything like that? That is because the Amazing Spider-Man 2 also takes place in phase 1. How is this possible, you may ask? Well, everything leading up to Gwen Stacy's death in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 takes place right before the Avengers, the first Avengers movie. So the first Avengers movie takes place in between the 6-month gap where Peter stopped being Spider-Man for a brief moment because he was grieving over Gwen Stacy's death. And that is why you don't see Spider-Man in the Avengers. That's why you don't see Nick Fury recruiting Spider-Man, because they either can't find him or they know that he's no longer, he doesn't go out doing Spider-Man stuff anymore. So then we go on to phase 2, and the reason why he's not in Age of Ultron, because the Avengers team has already formed. So during the events of Age of Ultron, they weren't really recruiting, but they were recruiting at the end when the original Avengers left. So Steve and Natasha / Black Widow, they were recruiting the new Avengers. So why wasn't Spider-Man recruited then? Well, if you look at the lineup of the new Avengers are people who the Avengers have already encountered. So at that time, they haven't actually encountered Spider-Man yet. So that's why Spider-Man is not in the new Avengers lineup. So what about Civil War? Civil War is how it plays out. Tony Stark recruits Peter Parker. He somehow knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man. We still don't know how he knows Tom Holland is Spider-Man. Let's just say that whatever reason he knows Tom Holland is Spider-Man, let's just say that's how he knows Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is Spider-Man, if that makes sense. So with whatever happens in Civil War and onwards, it stays the same. So that is how I would have fit in the Amazing Spider-Man Andrew Garfield in the MCU. Do you agree with me what I say in this video? Let me know what you think about this theory. Share your thoughts down below in the comments. So if you like this, give this a thumbs up, share this with your friends, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys later for more videos.